Now, if you watch any of my kokanee videos, you'll note that I primarily fish small, soft lures for kokanee. That is, I prefer the micro shrimps and little micro hoochies over a lot of the hard baits on the market for kokanee. And so today I thought I'd go over the reasons why I tend to prefer the smaller baits, but I'll fish hard baits today. Oop, come here, kokanee. And kind of go over how I rig these small hard baits, when I tend to use them. Alright, first kokanee in the boat. Next year's fish. Got that one on a spinner. And so when I talk about hard baits, I'm talking about spinners, spoons, both plastic and metal spoons, and also little clamshell lures like Brad's kokanee cut plugs. Just a little kokanee, but it's a start for the day. So the first lure that I was using there that I got that was on a Paulina Peak rainbow patterned spinner. Lots of companies produce small spinners for kokanee, but one of the things that I don't like about a lot of the spinners that are produced is they use really tiny blades that aren't deeply cupped, so they don't tend to spin. They just kind of wobble back and forth to create flash. And while that is effective in creating flash, I feel like I actually get more bites on spinners where the blades actually spin. And that is why I do like the Paulina Peak ones, or I make my own where I'll use a deeper cup Colorado blade or a deeper cup Indiana blade. A lot of the other blades I see, they tend to be really small and a little bit flattened out. I'm not sure why. I think maybe they're trying to reduce drag, which is an issue when running spinners. If you have too much drag, it can actually reduce the action on those, and reduce the action on your dodger, so that makes sense. But if you just increase your leader length just a little bit and give that dodger a little more room to wiggle, then a deeper cupped blade is fine. So that's one thing I'll change. You know, rather than running that 6-inch leader with a spinner, sometimes I'll, especially on the deeper cupped ones, on the deeper cup blades that actually spin, I'll give it maybe 8 to 10 inches just to give it a little more space. Ooh, there's the fish. Now there are two scenarios in which I will run these larger hard baits for kokanee. The first is I tend to prefer them in the latter half of the summer leading into the fall, as these fish get a little bit larger, a little bit more aggressive, and these lures are obviously larger and more aggressive than some of the smaller soft plastics that I generally fish during most of the year. Oh, come here. Oh, stay on there, buddy. The other scenario that I'll fish them is when it's off-color water and I want something that puts out a little bit more signal. So if you have had some rains and the water's a little bit murky or dirty, then these presentations make sense, these hard bait presentations, because they protect your gear using their lateral line, what runs along right there. Get that in the cooler. I got that one on a plastic Apex spoon. The Apex and Pro Troll kokanee killer spoons are essentially the same lure. They look very similar. The Pro Troll has this little thing that's supposed to create a signal, but you can see the two here have very similar shape. I've changed out the hooks for the Gamakatsu drop shot hooks because that's what you should always do. I'm going to run around a 16-inch leader on that 10-pound monofilament. You do want to put some kind of bead chain up at the top though, because they will bind up on themselves as they spin around down there. Now, I definitely prefer Dodger still as my primary flasher or attractor, but this is the time that if you want to run lake trolls with hard baits can be very effective, because a lot of hard baits like the spoons and the kokanee cut plugs have their own action. They don't need the Dodger to help create action. and they put out a huge signal. So especially in off-color water, it can be really productive to fish lake trolls for kokanee with hard baits. Come on, little buddy. There we go. Got him. Kokanee are stacked very tight to the bottom today in 30 feet of water. Must be something hatching down there that they're feeding on, because they're just a foot off the bottom. There's fish. Now for kokanee, I do prefer to troll at the upper end of the troll speeds for this fishery when I'm using hard baits, so keeping it in that 1.5 to 1.7 range. Ah, get in there, buddy. Oh, geez. Rather than that 1.3 to 1.5 range, I really prefer this a little bit faster troll speeds with these hard baits. Another next year's fish. I don't know where this year's fish are. Okay, they're not hiding out here. Caught that one on the Apex spoon. There we go. Now, just like with your soft lures for kokanee, you want to make sure that you have hook spacing ideally for hard baits. I think it's more important to have the hook spacing dialed in. You definitely want to put some space between the hard bait and your hooks. Most manufacturers will use small beads to do this, which I use too, but you can also use things such as little bobber stops. You can change the spacing out on the water. It's a little rainbow trout, so I'm going to toss him back. Oh, calm down there, buddy. See ya. That didn't take long. It's probably going to be my last fish for the day here, whether it's a rainbow or not. I usually catch more rainbows here on this end. Well, hardbaits aren't necessarily my favorite. They do have a time and place. Definitely I feel like you'll catch more fish if you just constantly fish the little smaller soft lures like hoochies, and I feel like the hard baits catch more rainbow trout, and the fish have to really be aggressive to catch them on the hard baits consistently. I think today if I would have just been fishing my typical micro hoochies or micro shrimps, I would have been going home with a limit rather than a half limit. And I've definitely been dealing with a lot more trout than I normally would have been. Trout seem to go for those larger, more aggressive lures, just like this fish. I'll put links to my favorite hard baits for kokanee down below. If you guys have any questions, or if you have a favorite hard bait that I failed to mention, just let me know in the comment section, and I'll get back to you. And just remember, fish smarter, not harder. See you guys.